Welcome to the Register's Report. My name is John Buckley. I'm the Register of Deeds of Plymouth County, and this show is about Plymouth County real estate. Our headline for the month was Sales in Mortgage Markets Continue to Shine. It is a show, we're taping it in September on the August activity at the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds. I have some great guests on in my second segment, Sharon McNamara and Susan Bollinger of Boston Connect Real Estate, and I'll be highlighting some of the history of Plymouth County and Plymouth Colony in my third segment. So our job at the Registry of Deeds is basically to record the documents that come in, to scan them as an image so they can be available over the internet or on site by the next day. We create a very strong index system so people can find the documents in the future when they're looking to do a title search or something like that. We then microfilm every document that comes in and return the documents on the recorded land side to the parties, and in land court, a second side of the registry, we keep all documents. They're basically documents kept under court supervision. So let's go to the numbers for the month of August. You're going to see a chart come up, a bar chart come up across the screen of deeds. Deeds are basically sales of property in Plymouth County. You'll notice that for August of this year, we recorded 1,009 deeds, which are 1,009 sales of property, slightly down from July, where there were 1,129, 10% more than last year in August, and year to date, through the first 8 months of calendar year 2015, up 4%. The next image you're going to see is of mortgages. We went through a period of time when our mortgage market was slower because interest rates had gone up, but we've really been booming along in recording mortgages. There are 1,858 mortgages recorded in August, less than the 2,099 in July, but up 14% over last August, and we're up 32% year to date. The next document we're going to show you an image of is foreclosure deeds. Foreclosure deeds are when a lender has taken back the property from the owner for not paying the mortgage. And those numbers are basically continuing, far less than they were years ago, but we're still seeing some troubling aspects of the foreclosure problem. A lot of lenders are clearing out their files and they're moving forward. There were 54 foreclosure deeds recorded in August, more than the 47 in July, and with 8 months of data in, 53% higher than last year. And then you're going to see a document of foreclosure notices. A foreclosure notice is when a party is basically in trouble facing foreclosure. We recorded 85 foreclosure notices in August, down from 105 in July, but that still is a pace that is troubling. And if anybody is in trouble getting foreclosure notices or warnings from the bank, I strongly advise you not to hesitate, but to contact a federal housing counselor, because you may be able to modify your loan. The next listing you're going to see is a listing by town, all the way from Abington to Whitman, 27 communities in Plymouth County. Brockton, Plymouth, and Wareham have had the higher numbers of foreclosure deeds and notices over the years. I want to specifically mention that our training room is open now. Our next training session, when you get a hands-on training of our online research, is October 1st. Call our office, 508-830-9290. We've been doing a series of office hours in the town halls with the Council on Agings, and we'll continue to do that. As I mentioned before, my guests on the next show are Sharon McNamara and Susan Bollinger of Boston Connect Realty and Real Estate, and we'll be talking about the real estate market in Plymouth County and what we might see ahead of us in the fall. So I'll see you in the next segment.
This is why you took a second job. While you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. While you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE today.
Welcome back to the Register's Report. Again, my name is John Buckley. I'm the Register of Deeds of Plymouth County. And in this segment of the show, we always try to do something educational for the public. We've had title examiners, surveyors, anyone involved in the real estate market, and those that are on the ground and have the best information of what is going on are our realtors. I have two great guests today. I have Sharon McNamara. Welcome,
Hi, John.
Sharon.
Thank you for having me.
And I have Susan Bollinger,
Oh, thank you for having me.
both of Boston Connect Real Estate. And Sharon's been a guest multiple times, and
Yes.
welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks.
First, if you don't mind sharing with the public a little of your background, how you get into real estate, and what you're currently doing in real estate.
Sure. So I am the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, as you know, and we're located in Pembroke on the South Shore. We service all of the South Shore and really beyond. We do from Boston really down to Cape Cod. So we have 34 agents that really can service people from all over. I opened the office October 1st. Actually, will be our 5-year anniversary. So yeah, so it's been great. And we never expected the success that we're having, but it has really worked out well with the agents and the caliber of agents that we have there. And I started in this business about 15 years ago, and I thought, like everybody who just starts, oh, wouldn't that be fun to do that part-time? And we know how that works.
Right.
But at the time, my background, I actually worked at Reebok. I was in men's fitness with marketing and advertising. And then when I had my children, who are now in college, it just didn't seem right for me to go back for our families. So as they got a little older, I took my test, got my license, started. I've worked for several great companies in the area, and learned a little bit of everything from every single one of the companies I've been with. But it's been 15 years. It actually went by really fast, and I've seen a lot of changes. So it's been great.
And Susan?
Well, I started about 12 years ago. I actually started, 13 years ago, I started working for the Pine Hills down in Plymouth as a sales assistant. And so that's really where I started my career.
Sure.
And then I decided I just wanted to do full-time sales and got my real estate license from there and then started selling. So like Sharon, I've worked for, many of the great companies around the South Shore, but ended up at Boston Connect because, I live in Pembroke. The office is in Pembroke, and it just really made sense for me. It's a small company. We're like a small family there, and it's just, great group of agents. So I've been, there for a few years now, and just really love it.
And one thing she's being humble about right now is our office manager just had her second baby, Trish Flynn, who you've met before.
Sure.
And she decided that she's going to stay home with the kids while they're younger, and when she's ready to come back, we're going to open a Bridgewater office probably. But we've put Sue in her position. So Sue is a very talented agent, very smart at what she does. Very professional, integrity, and really smart, which is important in this business because you're protecting people's interests and their money. So we just promoted her and asked her, because we hire from within, she trains all of our agents at our office.
Great.
Yeah, it's a great office, great group of people. So.
Right. So let's talk about the Plymouth County real estate market, and let's talk about where we've been for the last couple of months. In my first segment of the show, I did talk about, some really high numbers recorded for June, July, and August, and the trend is usually higher in those months.
Yeah.
And now we're transitioning into the fall, and so far in September we're doing very well. And I know you've all been part of that market.
Yeah.
So how's your experience been over those months?
Yeah, it has been very busy. I think a little bit of, that January, February, March with all of the snow, I feel like we still felt a little bit of that, a little slow and sluggish getting into the spring market because we still had snow.
Right.
So I would say as this summer was definitely very, very busy. I know my office alone, I personally sold 12 homes, and the office doubled what we did last year. So
That's great.
we did 36 closings in the office, which is great for a small,
Sure.
small company. We're seeing the same in August was higher for us as well. And what we're seeing now, and I was actually talking to my loan officer, and I was speaking to an attorney actually yesterday, and I can tell that they're a little slow right now. But what they're not seeing is what we're seeing is doing a lot of CMAs, comparative market analysis. We're out there, people are thinking about putting their homes on the market. So I feel like there's going to be another push of inventory that's going to get us through the fall months.
Yeah. And Susan, how's your summer been?
It's been crazy busy all summer, you know, not able to take a breath or a vacation really for that matter. So, you know, we've just, you know, this has been the busiest year I've had in quite a long time. I'm finding, you know, I have lots of buyers right now looking for either first-time homes, or I have listings coming on, people are trying to, you know, upgrade their homes, and I see that the fall is going to be very busy.
Yeah. So you touched on an issue that I've talked about before with other guests, the lack of inventory.
Absolutely.
And so you're seeing that still out there?
Still seeing a lack of inventory. It happened in the spring with the first-time buyers. You know, I was working with a few first-time buyers that were looking for homes 300 and under, and every time we would go to show it, they would be under agreement before we'd even get there. Yeah. Just a crazy, crazy busy market, lack of inventory.
So let's jump off to the first-time homebuyer market. I know that many people are concerned about the growth of that market. And with so many kids coming out with student loans, and you know, the difficulty of getting a down payment to get into a house of their choice. Yeah. That is difficult. Have you had dealings with many first-time home buyers?
Yeah, and it's not even really just that first home generation, it's even the generation after that. Okay. You know, just starting their families and having children. What I'm finding is they have loans, they have high loans. For some reason or another, that demographic tends to have very high car payments too. For what reason, I don't know, but they tend to. One of the things that we're seeing is because we have a lack of inventory, we're going to these homes. One client in particular I'm thinking about, we would show up in Norwell and we would put in offers. We would have multiple offers, and they're not getting accepted because they don't have a lot of cash to put down as a down payment, one, and they just don't look healthy. So the person who has, you know, maybe a family that's able to help them financially or giving them gifts, they tend to be a little bit ahead of the curve. But we still have people that will come to us and say, you know, I only have $2,500 in the bank. How do I buy a house? There are great packages. Actually, tomorrow there's several of us from the office doing a VA certification, so we can help people who can get VA loans and everything, and learn more about that, so they can do 100% financing.
Yeah. And Mass Housing has some good projects.
They have great
products. Rather.
They have great products. I love Mass Housing products. Everyone thinks you have to have 20% down. That's not true unless it's an investment property. You can put as little as 3% down. Yep. 3.5% down. Yeah. You can ask sellers for concessions. The seller to pay $5,000 towards closing costs, and it's just a way for you to sort of build that into your mortgage. Okay.
So what's your experience been with that market, the difficulty of getting those people?
I've had the same experience. You know, naturally somebody who's coming out of college, or, you know, only been in their job for a few years, they don't have a lot of money to put down. But the other loan type that I find is helpful is the USDA product. And certainly, and obviously it's not in all South Shore towns, but there are a few places you can get a USDA loan, which is 100% financing, and then you can do a seller concession to make it affordable for buyers. But again, you have to find a seller, you know, if you're competing with other buyers, you have to find a seller that's willing to see the value in your offer, and sometimes you have to offer a little over asking in order to make it worthwhile and whatnot. So.
Right. So we all have had a good summer. The registry and your office, that's great, because there are certainly ups and downs in real estate, and we're kind of up and trending up right now. How do you see the fall coming along?
I have a lot of business upcoming. So I see it as a busy fall. I have a listing about to come on now in Pembroke. I have actually 2 listings in Pembroke about to come on. They're trying to find a home now. I have a whole list of buyers that are ready to go. So I see it, I think it's going to be just as busy as the summer.
Yeah, and Sharon, we've talked before about, you know, seasonal selling, and how different times of year you might approach a sale differently. Let's talk about a fall. Somebody's out there watching this show and we're not into fall officially yet.
Yeah.
And certainly the weather today wouldn't make you think it was, but we are going to move along next week, I think. And
Yeah.
fall, we'll be feeling fall. Anything different you do in fall sales than you would in spring market?
You know, it's funny because everybody asks us, when is the best time to put my house in the market? When's the best time to sell? And I think it's really just pay attention if you're buying a house, what's going on with the loan process. So we don't know when interest rates are going to go up and down. I say that there really is no bad time to buy a house. If you are a seller, you want to be on the market when not a whole lot of other people are on the market. So if you come on the market in the fall, you're probably going to have an influx. I feel we're going to have a lot of people coming on soon. But then as we're getting closer to November and December, I feel that people always say, oh, I'll wait until the spring. In my opinion, that's really when you want to be on, because the serious buyers are going to be out. You're not going to be interrupted. So the serious buyers will be there, and that's when you are in control. It's still a seller's market, though, because the inventory is low. But during the fall, it's a perfect time to have your house on the market.
So a conversation we had earlier, we're concerned, everyone's concerned, nobody knows what the Federal Reserve is going to do this week, and maybe by the time the show runs,
We'll know.
We'll know. But we do have varying opinions. That people are saying that because of the fact that it really hasn't been a strong economy for long, it'll stay where they are because of China problems, the economy in China, that they'll be more likely to stay still. What do you think is going to happen, and what would the impact be of a small increase in interest rates?
Yeah, I think that the small increase isn't going to impact us too much. I feel that the media will probably make it the sky is falling, and I don't really think it's that. As we were discussing beforehand, I mean, the interest rates are still super low. We're not talking about 12s, 13s, 14, 17%, but I do feel that buyers might get a little anxious, so they will be more anxious, unfortunately, to probably make decisions not based on value but based on emotion and the worry of that behind them. And that's one of the things that we really do try to educate our buyers with is, don't just buy a house because you feel as if there's no other house and you have to buy something now. You're better off maybe renting, but that's another issue we're having. There isn't anything to rent. So with the sellers, that might actually prompt them to come on the market sooner than waiting until the spring, because they'll be worried that what will happen next year. We're getting closer and closer to a new election. What will happen?
And we were talking earlier, you gave a real example of someone that thought they had a bead on a condo.
Yep.
And, I wanted to just...
Yeah, it was actually on our ride over here, and I'm sorry, Sue, that had to listen through the whole thing on my Bluetooth in the car, but one of my clients, and I, as you know, I do the radio show as well, and I call it right sizing. It's not a downer that you're leaving your 4-bedroom colonial, it's just the next stage and next chapter in your life. So I do have a client that put their house on the market. They really had no place to go. They know where they want to be with a condo, but they were in no rush to just pick anything, because this is their next chapter and probably the last move they'll make for a long time. So they decided that they'll rent, but a condo came on the market in the area that they want to be in, and it went on the market late last night. She saw it in her email this morning at 4:30. She called me at 9:30. We tried to set up the appointment and already had an accepted offer.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
It is really crazy.
Yeah.
So
Really strong buyer, and it doesn't even matter because it's already under agreement before she even had a chance to look at it.
So I know, Susan, you have pretty regular mortgage people you go to. And have they expressed any concern about rising rates and how it might affect their business to you?
Oddly enough, we don't discuss it that much, because what Sharon said is so true. It's such a minimal increase that it's still incredibly low, and it's still an incredibly great time to buy or sell, for that matter. But so I'm thinking that's not, obviously with the first-time buyers, it will affect them a little bit more, because you're talking about, $40 a month is a lot more to someone who's in a $300,000 house. But for the most part, I don't think it'll affect things too much.
And kind of on that more negative side of real estate, although it is not as prevalent as it was 2 years ago, short sales and things like that. Have you had any recent things with short sales?
I haven't come across it as often, but I do currently have a short sale, and what I'm finding is that the banks aren't valuing them where they should be. So the short sale that I have right now in Plymouth, they sent out somebody to do an analysis on it, and it came back about $100,000 higher than what I was going to value it, and we're going to have to do a deed in lieu instead because they're valuing it way too high. But there are still many short sales out there now, not as much as there were a couple years ago.
There's still people in trouble. I mean, we get
Still people in trouble,
foreclosure
absolutely.
notices, and quite honestly, you mentioned Plymouth, Brockton, Plymouth, and Wareham are the higher level of problem communities in terms of foreclosure deeds and foreclosure notices. So it's great you guys are on it and can try to help, because it can be a complicated process.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I'm noticing in that area is statistically people move every 7 to 10 years. Well, if we go back 7 to 10 years, where were we? We were at the height of that market.
Right.
So now that's one of the things that I'm starting to see is people who are considering moving because that 7 to 10 year time frame has come up. I'm telling them, they're feeling like, well, I paid way too much for this house. And I was like, well, it isn't that you paid too much for it. It was just at the height of the market. So some of them are still feeling that they're underwater a little bit.
So I think it's important if you share with our viewers your contact information. So.
Oh, absolutely. I can be reached at the office at 781-826-7300, or my cell phone is 508-317-5729, and email sbollinger, the number 4 at Gmail. So.
Great.
And Sharon McNamara, BostonConnect.com is where you can find Sue and myself as well. We're actually October 1st revamping our new website, so that's going to be out soon. But I can be reached at the office as well, 781-826-7300, or my cell phone, cell text 781-294-4848.
So we just have a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
What are you doing to your website, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, so we're
revamp it?
changing it up a little
Okay.
bit, because when we opened 5 years ago, I feel as if from having a marketing and advertising background, to me, that impression, the first impression is the most important. We call it curb appeal when we're looking at
sure.
houses. So we're just changing things up, and we just want to sort of get on track with how websites are looking today. So
Great.
more interactive as well, and it will be a little bit easier for people to navigate.
Great. Well, thank you both for joining me. It's a lot of great information, and anybody that wants to give you a call, just one more time your contact information.
Sure.
BostonConnect.com again, 508-317-5729, and that's my you can text as well.
Yeah, and same with me, 781-294-4848.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thanks, John. I
Okay.
appreciate it. Nice
Great.
to
Thank
see
you
you
so
as
much.
always.
Yeah, nice to have you on. Welcome back to the Register's Report. In this segment of the show, we always try to do something a little lighter in nature. I want to thank Sharon McNamara and Susan Bollinger from Boston Connect Real Estate for their discussion with me on what's happening in the Plymouth County real estate market. The month of September has multiple holidays: Labor Day, Patriot Day, the 9/11 memorial celebrations, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. The first day of fall will come upon us on September 23rd. We're displaying a new entity at the Registry of Deeds in our community display case. The town of Pembroke will be entering the registry's display case also on the 23rd. It is the 10th anniversary of our new building in Plymouth, and I want to talk about 3 particular historical documents that we have relative to our notable land record collection. The first one is Edaville Railroad. Edaville Railroad, that many people are aware of, is a family attraction still open in Carver. Edaville was formed from the initials of Ellis D. Atwood, the founder of this business. He was born in Carver and was involved in the cranberry industry, and he was very known for his generosity in displaying of Christmas displays. He ended up buying a railroad and just using it to travel around the bogs and show off various displays of Christmas. And Edaville continues to this day to be operational. New on the site is a new destination, which is basically a theme park, Thomas the Tank Engine theme park. And it just opened. I know it's getting a lot of business. Anybody that has any children that follow Thomas the Tank Engine would do well to go visit Edaville Railroad, the new exposition at Edaville Railroad. The next notable record you're going to see is a record of a Patriot quarterback. And no, it is not Tom Brady. He never lived in Plymouth County, but his predecessor did. And I ask people all the time, who was the quarterback before Tom Brady? And some people do remember Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe was a Patriots quarterback from 1993 to 2001. He was a first-round draft choice, started his rookie season. When the Patriots earned their first postseason in 8 years, he led the Patriots to a Super Bowl appearance, and he was named a starter for the Pro Bowl. He's gone on to a successful business career, including opening of a winery, and he is in the Patriots Hall of Fame. The next one I'm going to have come across the screen is from our colonial records. The Registry of Deeds now has built a vault and houses the colonial records. The Plymouth Colony basically included all of Plymouth County, all of Bristol County, and all of Barnstable County. And the Colonial Court, many people remember, that started based upon the arrival of the Mayflower and the Mayflower Compact, that they established their own self-government under the leadership of William Bradford primarily, offered John Jenny a mill for the grinding and beating of corn on Town Brook. And it is an opportunity that took away a lot of people's drudgery in their life from having to grind their own corn with a pedestal. He established this operation based upon the water power in Town Brook. And although the original Jenny Grist mill burnt down in 1847, a new mill is operating and run by Plymouth Plantation. I want to thank Lorna Green Baker and Christine Richards for putting this show together with me, David Antoine at PAC TV, and all the help I got today for putting this show together. I appreciate the ability to share information with the people of Plymouth, Kingston, Duxbury, and Pembroke about real estate in Plymouth County. And I will see you next month. Thank you.